So this time, let's make the splatter, like the splash effect. When we cut the thing, cut a fruit, it'll pop, explode, create like a splatter effect. So what I've got here is I've got two textures, two splatter effects, which I'm just going to import. Now, again, you probably want a couple of these just to add a bit of variation. But what I'll do is I'm just going to create a material out of both of them. And that material, because they've got like, that black outline, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to be an additive, type additive, and that should get rid of the black. And we're going to go to the emissive instead. Are we? No, maybe we're not. Maybe we should have used the PNG. Ideally, you know what, if you've got a PNG type, use the PNG, because then you can get rid of your opacity, but it should work fine. It should work fine. Anyway, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to multiply it by a color. So I'm just holding 3 and left clicking to create a scalar parameter, which at the moment will be white. But let's say, for example, we chop a strawberry. We might want that to be red. I put that into my base and I meant to put it into my method. You might want it to be red. If you chop a banana, you might want it to be yellow, orange, orange, and so forth. So at the moment, by default, I'm just going to leave that to be, like white. And let's just rename that. So right click and convert it to a parameter. I'm just going to call it col for color. And hit compile and save. Now you're going to want to do the same for the second material as well. But for now I'm just going to set it up with just the one for the sake of recording this video. I'm going to create a blueprint class of type actor, and I'm going to call this splatter effect. Splatter effect underscore BP, and open it up. Now this wants to be a decal. Now I forgot to actually do that in here. So I'm going to go back to my material. I'm going to change it from a material domain surface to a decal. And now it's telling me I can't use additive with decal, so let's say it to be translucent. I forgot we wanted to make it a decal. So now that I say a decal, we can go back to our new effect and let's create a decal. And I'm just going to drag my decal reference in there. Now, just to see what this looks like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on my back wall, because that's where we want it to be. Also, real quick, let me move my back wall closer to the screen like that, because that's sort of how it is in the game. So, inside here you can see it's not presenting right, so I'm just going to rotate it 90 degrees. Hit compile. Did that make a difference? Nope, maybe it wasn't that, maybe it's this rotation. And no, it's making no difference. Is it this rotation? What the? I've rotated you on all the axes. Why? It's sorry, me being a fool. I dragged the decal into my level, not my blueprint. Sorry. Let's put you guys back to 0, 0, 0. There we go. My bad. I put the decal in, not the blueprint. Cool, okay. Let's just say, hypothetically, that's fine. That's what we wanted to do. Now, upon creation, what we want to do is we want to get this decal, for example, and we might want to just set rotation. Now, what is our current rotation? It's just 0, 0, 0, right? But potentially, we might actually want to rotate it a little bit like that, so a little bit on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right click and split this struct, and let's set random range. Just get random range. Random floating range between, say, 0 and 360. And let's hit compile. And let's give it a quick test. Cool. You can see each time now it's a different one. But what we might also want to do is we might also want to randomly select a splatter. So I've only got 2, so I could just do a branch with a random bool, and if it's this or this, do that. But if you've got lots of splatters, I would recommend using a switch on int and setting that up with a random int in range, and then like say you've got 7 splatters, pew, 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 have them all light up like that. So if my random bool is true, it's going to do nothing. However, if it's false, then I'm going to set material. Set decal material to be my other material, which I've not created yet. I'm just going to duplicate you real quick and drag you in there because that's already set up how I like it to do. All I want to do is quickly change the texture out for this one and hit save. Cool. So now randomly, mine's got a 50-50 chance of being either that one or that one. Cool. Okay, that's pretty much most of the way done. The only other things potentially we might want to do is set a colour. So I'm just going to create a custom event. Set col. And I'm going to get reference to my decal. Set material. Set parameter. Set parameter. I'm starting to think, if I remember rightly, you can't actually set a parameter on a decal like this. And off the top of my head, I've done it before, but I don't remember how I did it. It's something about like creating a material instance. Material instance. Create a material instance. And then can we set the parameter in this? Parameter. Set vector parameter. Call. Ooh, I don't know if I remember if this is right. If this doesn't work, I'm not gonna worry too much about it because I don't want to spend this entire video trying to set that. Oh wait, that only works if it's that one. Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, I thought it was something like that. Cool. Alright, so let's call that set call yellow. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create another custom event and call it set call red, and let's just duplicate these. And set that to be red. And set up for like, whatever type of fruit you have in your game. Cool. Alright, now let's go to our banana. Do we have a banana? Let's go to our banana. And upon our banana getting destroyed, so let's simulate physics, well, not even destroyed, here, we are going to want to spawn. Why is that not wired up? I don't remember. But you know what? I'm sort of fine with how it is, so I'm not going to mess with it. What am I doing? I'm going to spawn an actor from class. Spawn actor from class. And that is going to be my splatter effect. And let's wire you in there. Wire you there. And create splatter effect. We're going to need to get the world transform. Get world transform. Alright, and hopefully it should be as simple as this. But let's find out. Let's remove that decal there. What's this? Oh, okay. Let's find out. Okay, so couple of things. It's not quite long enough, is it? So I'm going to go back to my banana, and I'm going to add an arrow, and I'm just going to put that arrow, a bit more behind my actual banana. While I'm also on my banana, I'm going to select my meshes, and I'm going to just search for the word decal. I'm going to turn off this kerosene decal, because I don't know if you clocked it, but the decal was showing up on it. Get out of here. Alright, let's go. Why, oh why? Unless my arrow's sort of at the wrong side. You know what, we'll just put that back, and let's just go back, and let's get the decal, and let's just make it super long. I hope that's the right way. Okay, it's doing it, but it's in the wrong spot. Is it because the arrow isn't moving with the banana? Cool. Made this a little bit big, and we're forgetting to set the colour. So let's go to my splatter, and I'm just going to get my default scene root. I'm just going to like just over half it. Also need to, on my banana, when my banana gets destroyed, when it spawns it, I want to set yellow. Set col yellow. Alright, let's go. There you go. It's quite nice, isn't it? Let's do a quick particle system as well. So I'm just going to go to VFX, right click, create Niagara, and I'm just going to get a template for the sake of this, and long particles, directional burst. Yeah, that'll do for now. Let's just put a simple particle system on it as well. We'll call it burst. I'm going to go to my banana. I'm going to drag and drop the burst onto my hole. We'll say it down like that. Let's make that a touch bigger. 222. Oh, not that. The burst. Let's make the burst a touch bigger. And let's also make sure it doesn't auto activate. And is that definitely? Sure, we'll just put that to make sure. Let's make a bit of room. Let's get a burst, and let's activate it. Activate. So I know that's just a default template one. You could make a proper one yourself if you wish to. So let's see how that looks. Nice. I think the perspective's throwing the decal off a little bit, so I'm just going to move the wall a little bit closer again. There's a banana on the floor there. Let's get rid of that. Let's see if that looks a bit better. Yeah, that's alright, isn't it? I mean, it's sort of throwing it off a little bit. The other thing you could do is sort of mess with the scale of the splatter as well. Give it sort of a time over life, things like that. But, you know what? That's good progress. Add a bit more sort of VFX to it. It's looking a bit better. Next time, maybe we get a bomb in there. Then maybe we start to think about like life systems and whatnot. So, thanks for watching.